Jemele Hill just accurately addressed the feelings and criticisms that the Black community have for Stephen A. Smith.
The reason I've had problems with some of the things he said is because he don't keep that same energy.
And this comes after he got the thumbs down last week from the National Association of Black Journalists.
Stephen A. Smith, sports analyst and political commentator. Smith has established a recurring public pattern of disparaging commentary directed at prominent Black women across politics, sports, and media.
With him then responding in the most tone-deaf way possible by going on Fox News to complain about the Black community.
Doesn't this have to do specifically with your criticism of radical people on the left? And you did mention a couple of African-American women.
I think it is. I don't think there's any question about it, and that's why I spoke out against it, because I think it's utterly ridiculous.
Which is why everything Jemele Hill says in this video is so on point, because it feels like Stephen A. Smith still does not get it.
If you're going to, especially in your position, being Black, have a conversation about our community, that's inside of our community, about someone who belongs to our community, you got to go into that conversation with a different sensibility.
But I'm Jew. Welcome to the channel. Please like and share the video. Don't forget to sub. Now, let's get into it.
The reason I've had problems with some of the things he said is because he don't keep that same energy.
At all.
If you're going to, especially in your position, being Black, have a conversation about our community, that's inside of our community, about someone who belongs to our community, you got to go into that conversation with a different sensibility. Doesn't mean you don't tell the truth, but you got to be aware and observant about certain things.
Yeah, that was my biggest beef with the Jasmine Crockett tape. Whether you love or hate Jasmine Crockett, the thing that everybody should find detestable is the way that he was talking about a Black woman on his platform, saying that she has rhetoric for the streets or from the streets, which two races, in my opinion, were dog whistles.
Is engaging in verbiage and rhetoric for the streets. And that's fine when you in the streets. How many of y'all bring the streets to the table when you at the negotiating table trying to get a deal done? How many of you are able to think that for a second that you're able to bring street verbiage to Capitol Hill and that's going to work for you?
But he doesn't have that same energy for Trump, who called him low IQ.
You want to talk about IQ? I could say I put my IQ up against yours any day of the week. I could go one better. I could ask you why you've been running from me the last year since I wanted to talk to you. I could ask you to debate me, since you think you that dude, okay? We can go a myriad of ways with all of this, but I'm not gonna let you off the hook because none of that is important.
He talked real polite, real soft-spoken when it came to addressing Trump. He didn't call him an idiot, a thug, or any of that.
The right often comes after Jasmine Crockett because of the way she speaks, because of her persona, the way she comes off. They call her ghetto. Was it Lauren Loomer, where her stupid, crazy ass called her Shaniqua?
Yep.
Constantly insulting this woman. And here you come launching some of the same criticism.
Yeah, dogpiling. Even if he had criticism, he could have had criticism for Jasmine Crockett, but don't wrap it in being hood or ratchet, any of that. Address her policies, her politics, whatever you disagree with. But if you're just mad at how she responds to Trump after being called low IQ by Trump, you're in the wrong.
It's all right if you said, hey, I think her policies are dog shit.
Exactly.
I think this or that. That's fine. But that's not what you attacked her for.
Nope.
So that's why people had a really big problem with it. And then we see Donald Trump call you stupid. He called you low IQ. He insulted your intelligence. And people were wondering, are you going to give him that Jasmine Crockett energy? And you didn't. No. So that's why people are like, hey, Stephen A., we're wondering.
Again, she's a journalist. She's a peer of Stephen A. Smith. So I understand why she's being very careful in how she's speaking and delivering this message. But no Black people are wondering about Stephen A. Smith. We don't wonder which side he's on or why he does not fuck with the Black community. We're not wondering that at all. We know why he's doing this. For the Republican, conservative, MAGA grift, who he tiptoes around. He told people to get over the Epstein files.
You're in an uproar off the Epstein list. That's all you've got? It's really, really surprising that this matters. Of course, I think there's a list, but I don't know. I suspect, but I have no knowledge, nor do I care. It's Friday night. I'm getting ready to go out and enjoy myself. I'm getting ready to have a nice weekend. I could give a damn about the client list, the Epstein client list. It has no effect on me whatsoever. I have a life. I don't understand for the life of me why this matters so much.
He literally only criticizes Black people and Democrats, which is why the NABJ called him out in the first place. Aggression, vitriol.
Stephen A. Smith, sports analyst and political commentator. Smith has established a recurring public pattern of disparaging commentary directed at prominent black women across politics, sports, and media. Such commentary reinforces harmful narratives, undermines the fair and respectful representation of black women in public discourse, and stands in direct conflict with NABJ's long-standing commitment to accurate, responsible, and inclusive portrayals of black communities.
Exactly what is it, or why does it seem like for the people that look like you than for the people who don't want your people to exist?
Correct.
When Donald Trump called you stupid, you laughed and challenged him to a debate.
He was so soft-spoken, had the patriotic music in the background, didn't raise his voice at all, no real criticism of Trump, which there are a amount of things with proof that you could criticize Trump for. He did none of the above. But he got all the extra energy whenever he's talking about black people. Like him talking about if LeBron put hands on him, what he would do.
Because had that man put his hands on me, I would have immediately swung on him. Immediately. That I'm not going to tolerate.
If Kamala Harris would have called you stupid, what would you have said?
Oh, he would have
Very
went off.
curious. That's why people are like, what's up with this guy? And even your former colleague, my friend Carrie Champion, noted this during the Jasmine Crockett dust up. Is for years, as your colleagues, we saw one of our other colleagues, Michelle Beadle, constantly criticize you, and not in a way that is like, oh, I don't like how he feels about the Spurs, or I don't like how he feels about this team or that team. She says she actively roots for your demise. She called you everything but a child of God. I mean, it is very personal with Michelle Beadle. She made it personal and said it was personal. Nothing.
No energy.
Total silence. So I think people just wondering is like, why does it seem like...
Why is
okay,
it?
let's talk about black athletes. For example, we note that you have a lot to say about black athletes, but let's be fair about it. The sports that you talk about the most, the majority of athletes are black. You say plenty of positive things about black athletes. This is true. But we've seen some instances where with certain prominent black athletes, it gets real personal.
KD, LeBron, Kyrie Irving, who he did come back and apologize to. You can take that apology for what it was worth. I think the times changed, the winds have changed, and he's trying to stay up to date with what the current zeitgeist is on the right more than anything else.
We don't see that same energy toward other athletes.
Mm-hmm.
People start to wonder, why does it get so personal? You know, the Kyrie Irving thing. I know you apologized. Saw that apology. But that got real personal, and why? And so it just seems like when it comes to taking a shot at your folks, you don't hesitate.
At all.
You aim first and keep firing constantly. And so the question is about the energy and the evenness. Is that same energy equally distributed?
No, and it's not a question anymore. At this point, people are just calling it out and calling it what it is. I knew he was going to play it's the Democrats card. Stephen A. Smith is basic as fuck with the MAGA grip, which he is. Yo, you didn't have this amount of energy when Trump called you dumb as a rock. You pick and choose. That's why you got called out. Exactly. And you responding just proves everyone's point. Mr. Bojangles is ready to bring the house down because people are calling him out on his behavior. This is his response when dude called him low IQ. No bass in his voice, polite and honored, which it really was, which they weren't doing for a very long time. But again, with the rise of social media and people having their own platforms, they are addressing Stephen A. Smith for all his anti-blackness and biased opinions and covering of topics.
Misspeak there, is it? So
No.
That's what it was. And so that's the crux of the criticism. Now, after receiving this award, you went on your own platform first. Makes sense. Your platform.
I am the same guy that brought a nationally televised show to a journalism conference, which is the NABJ, the last 2 years. Did you have anything to say about me then?
And then Fox went harder the NABJ for giving him a thumbs down than a white man who called you stupid and all the bass in your voice left. But an organization said they were disappointed in your representation and all of a sudden cutting wrestling promo and jumping on Sean Hannity. I didn't even get to the Fox part yet.
This. Now, doesn't this have to do specifically?
I'm sorry. He literally ran to the white man to talk bad about black people.
This. Now, doesn't this have to do specifically with your criticism of radical people on the left? And you did mention a couple of African-American women at times. Jasmine Crockett, who says nutty things. Joy Reid, who says, in my view, nutty things.
If they say nutty things, then what does Trump say?
Is that what this is about?
I think it is. I don't think there's any question about it, and that's why I spoke out against it, because I think it's utterly ridiculous. I was raised by 5 black women. My mother, God rest her soul, and my 4 older sisters. I have 2 daughters. I have 10 nieces. I don't know what the hell they're talking about. I find it highly offensive that they would label me in this way. Give me a thumbs down award specifically for disparaging black women. I want everybody out there to know there's no such thing. That did not happen. That is a flat-out lie.
He is doing all this crying about a 30-second PowerPoint slide calling him out for disparaging black women. Instead of changing his tone, instead of looking in the mirror and saying, you know what, maybe I've been a little too critical or a little too hard, where I'm not that critical on the other side or talking about other people, and I'll reflect and do a better job of my coverage of black women specifically. He's just going on this rampage defending himself like we don't have video proof of everything he said about black women. At the end of the day, Stephen A. Smith is so out of touch with the people and the black community that he doesn't even understand the criticism or the feelings that we have about him and his content. So it's good to see his peers like Jemele Hill speak out and try to put everything in proper context, which she did a great job of. But shout out to my channel and Patreon members. Thank you so much for supporting and thanks for watching. Y'all let me know what you think about all this in the comments. Also, make sure you check out the next video and don't forget to follow me on Instagram for behind the scenes and life stuff, and I'll catch you next time. Peace.